log in. And it's a fairly straightforward database. We're going to try student debt or student loans. And because it's in its own box, we don't need to put the parentheses around it. And wealth inequality. And we found that wealth inequality worked well when we put it in quotation marks, which means keep that phrase together exactly as we have it. And then I'm going to click search. And we get 1,180 results. Now, if you can start by, again, the filter for date. And we can move this to 2000 and update it. It's not going to change it a great deal. We can also limit it by the type of newspaper or the type of news organization. I recommend that you don't use wire feeds. Those are like the Associated Press, and the stories are usually repeated in the newspapers. We're going to go down here is to publication title. I find that that's a very useful filter. And we're going to click more. And what you want to look for are well-known mainstream publications. Now, if you're looking for campus papers, you could mark University Wire. I would suggest the New York Times, the Washington Post. Might look at the Washington Post blogs. Financial Times, the Washington Post. CNN Special, maybe. New York Times, Politico, the Wall Street Journal, and you could pick a number of them. And that reduced us to 324 results. So this is 324 newspaper stories in the last 20 years that mention the terms student debt or student loans and wealth inequality. Now there's another filter that I want to show you, and that's the subject filter. And what this does is it tries to give you a further way to make your search more precise. So we can see here that we have student loans and wealth inequality, low-income groups, that might be a good one. African Americans might be a good one. Student debt might be a good one. Tuition, certainly a relationship. Income inequality, which is not the same as wealth inequality, but very similar. College students, middle class, social networks. Again, terms that are more precise in some cases and related. And so that got us down to 162. And so here we have a campus newspaper saying that student loans disproportionately affect minority students. We have that households with more debt are mainly weighed down by student loans and credit cards. How it keeps people enslaved, how student debt keeps people enslaved. So there's a number of ways. Now here you'll see there's two that have the same, and that's because one is in the Washington Post blog and one is in the Washington Post, and they happen to have the same headlines on them. Most of the newspaper stories in here are full text. It's very rare to find one that's not. You can get an APA citation, you can email it to yourself, and they also have related items. So that's a good way to be able to get newspaper articles, news articles on your topic.